We have a lot of limestone, as we are in a 90-mile stretch of the stuff called Backbone Ridge. I can't even imagine how big 90 miles is, but that's pretty small in Texas. Now, with that being said, these little carbonic acid drops made these little holes in the ground that eventually became bigger and bigger until over time. Yeah, sorry about that. That's important because we can see this little glowing green stuff right here. This is called calcium carbonate. Calcium carbonate is very important to this cave as it is the bedrock to any formation that you see. So any stalagmite, stalactite, made of this stuff. Now when it comes to the reason we don't touch anything...
Longhorn Caverns, located north of Austin, the capital of Texas. During the Wild West gold rush, the outlaws used these caverns as a hunter.
So first up, the second overhang right here is something you really don't want to touch, as it's a formation. I know it looks like I threw glitter on it, but that's not the case. So just please don't touch that.
不要碰，不要碰，这是正在上面那个，
真是。
改头四块。
There are names for stuff. Some of them don't. Sometimes we'll just make up the name because it's funny. Glad we're all making it through. Cool. All right, welcome to Crystal City. Why is it called Crystal City? Well, we got calcite crystals here. You may or may not be able to see them. These little gemstones are pretty cool. But what's even cooler about this section is the history. As back in 1879, 4 couples became the first documented people in this cave. By that I mean people actually knew they were in the cave. The government at least. Now, if you're wondering, what are 4 couples on Valentine's Day doing in a damp, dark cave? Picnic. 3 seats. The steps, yes, and the handrails below them. But they didn't do the pathway. They laid out a pathway with limestone. So then in the 60s, we were like, let's get into some concrete here.
Okay, so this is the okay one for
Yes, this is all limestone.
我有点包死了。
包死就是。
Oh, hey, there's an answer. 1902.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
这本是我听说的。1939年的辐射。
I bet you'll have to duck down a few holes.
Oh, I'm sure. I won't have to get on my knees or anything, will I?
Not unless you want to. We had streaming tours.
Oh, that was the day.
No, it's just no one really does this. I would tell you the past.
It's like a YouTube video, the same thing.
I mean,
During the Cold War, the caverns is designated for nuclear fallout, accommodating up to 2,000 people.
Y'all see the burn mark that he was talking about? The Wednesday burn mark?
Don't touch the rocks, okay? See it right there? The black part.
这他说的什么？好好年，放在有2年。 韩国情侣放到这儿来，然后这儿吃饭，然后结果呢，他的灯就把这个宝石给弄烂了，这儿有个黑的，
哦
看到没有？
哦，这样。嗯。
小心。
嗯。
用爱哈。
That's the actual name, and that's why his name's Ronald. As yes, I have named all of them. Anyway, so these guys sleep for about 3 to 4 days, then go outside at night. Down. This absolute diva of the formation decided to fall on the wall. So, you know, a bit extra. Now this... Oh god, they are. They all look tasty. Oh, he's gonna eat us. Now, 1919 is not the oldest date in this cave. The oldest is like 1863, I believe. We won't see that date at all. Is named Rocky. I did not name him. That's his actual name. Rocky here is made of dolomite. Dolomite is a type of limestone that has a higher concentration of magnesium. Now, if you notice, he's pretty smooth. Compared to taking more pictures of him, you are allowed to move on to the next room. I know some people don't want to stare at rocks all day. It's kind of my job, so. Rocks are pretty cool. It's just sometimes staring at the same one isn't always the most fun. Oh, that's concrete. No, that's something I'll explain later. Oh. Sorry, I was just for those who will finish that part. No, they're very important for the story. We're going to walk out. Look how dark that is. Wow, that's a creepy guy in the dark room too. Wow. Anyway, let's keep going. Anyway, so welcome to the Native American Council Room. Usually called the Council Room by me. Others call it the Indian Council Room, but honestly calling it Council Room is easier for everybody's sake, all that fun stuff. Now, if you're wondering why Comanche natives were within this section, there was really one reason for it. It's this stuff right out here. These dark spots are called chert. C-H-E-R-T. Chert is just flint. Like, seriously, there's no difference besides the color. Chert is brown and white, flint is black. And chert is actually a blanket term for like stuff that's like flint. It's very weird, very complicated, just they're the same thing. So that means the Comanche as y'all walk by, there is a sinkhole on your left. Sinkhole's covered because the cover up all the sinkholes because we don't want anything falling through. You won't see the covering anyway. We're a bit too far out in the wilderness in terms of the surface. So please don't ask me if you'll see the covering in the gift shop.
最有名的台湾，我去。
哦。
请了3个人，帮我来站一下。
存在更上面一个洞。人说，是不是你上面一个洞穴有空了哈？要是纯只可能是一个攀上去的可以。
Anyway, so some of y'all have answered my question already, but have y'all been to or heard of Carlsbad Cavern? Some yeses, some no's. For those that do not know, Carlsbad Cavern is a cavern Cavern out in New Mexico, very famous for its elevator. Obviously, the cave is more famous, but the elevator was more important to our story, as it was installed in January 1932, a little bit before we actually opened, on Thanksgiving Day of that same year. And no lights on, and little black lights get to shine everywhere. New information and stuff is pretty cool. What's even more cool is when you come on Saturday nights on certain days. It's called our Saturday Night Lights. You get to come down here in the dark with lanterns. Yeah, your tour guide does have a lantern and a flashlight, but they won't use the flashlight too much. Now they are able to tell you more information, more about black lights and how like things work around the cave, and they even get to tell ghost stories that I don't get to tell. Just I'm gonna do that. Now after the Saturday Night Light cave tour, you are allowed to go up top, but since it's dark, we have all the trails and stuff covered. We do have a little DJ playing at the time. DJ Cruz is pretty cool. He plays in the CCC building. You get to do song requests and even dance in that little building. Above that is the stargazing. There's actually $500 worth of telescopes, so we can let you do that. They're pretty cool. We also have face painting, where you can have Sam paint on your face, and it reacts under black light, so it's pretty cool. Keeps that cool. But what's the best thing? The best in the entire Saturday Night Lights is there's a fire pit where you get to make s'mores. Yeah. Or hot chocolate as well if it's cold enough. Well, we've been doing hot chocolate. What makes the fire pit even better, though, is the person who runs it is me. So, not the best. I do not know what the next one is, but it's probably more around Valentine's Day, as we like to do the SNLs around holidays. First is to fill it up with dry stuff. Okay. Food, rations, medicine, whatever you want, stuff like that. Afterwards, you fill it up with water within the cave or water you have on hand. And then you fill it up with waste. And by that I mean it says to use it as a bathroom. And I hope they read it in that order, because otherwise, you can basically just do parties and stuff. It's just doing a tour unless you want it. Like, I would talk to people upstairs about doing specific stuff. We had Freemasons come down here to do their whole inauguration thing. So it's just, I would ask the managers upstairs, just because I don't know exactly. It's like 2 hours. Yeah, and the flat bases, that's probably a CCC version. That's funny, that's concrete. We've had 3 lighting systems throughout our entire almost. But I'd rather have no one hit their head or die. So if you need any assistance going along here, you are allowed to touch the top of the cave. This is the one and only time that is allowed, so please be careful, please be safe, and have fun on the boat ride. You get down here, and in May it rained like a bunch. So then June, July, August, November, actually. Just so much water. It wasn't flooded, just giant puddles of water dripping down and head constantly. Most people do want to get married within this section, but no, it's just you gotta be willing to go through the banquet. Now, wedding I told you about that happened more recently. The bride and the groom came down here to have private pictures. The bride definitely not her dress very much dirty. But it was her choice. They had fun. We had one wedding where they forgot to bring enough people to sign the witness papers, so the tour guides had to sign it for them. Anyways, get our steps in, folks. Hopefully someone has a pedometer. Yeah, you have to have a guide regardless.
And how long does that give you?
Usually just a time slot. Depends on how many time slots you pay for. You pay for the entire day if you want. But that would be very expensive.
Yeah.
Now, good news for y'all. We don't gotta go back to Omega. Yeah, right? We gotta go to the light at the end of the tunnel. By that I mean the stop sign next. So yeah, go on ahead. Yep, that's Omega. Not proper. It's just not my face.
They actually did their prohibition of it. They had big days coming. It's cool. Yeah.
Now, I wish I could tell you what's going on here, but we have no idea, so we're gonna keep walking. Yeah, we've had like so many theories, but geologists keep coming through, giving us a new one, and we're not gonna bother. About 2 hours. San Antonio?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can tell you that because I go there from time to time. And if you want to do anything around in this area, you gotta drive an hour. Unless you want to go to a restaurant. Alright, the reason we have 2 stop signs so close to each other is because that right there is our lowest point in the cave at 4'4". Yeah, it's called the Rock of Many Names because people tend to hit their head on it a lot and give it a new name. We got kids here, keep it PG. Now, other than that though, I'd like y'all to be safe, so this is the last time you get to touch any sort of rock. If you do need any of that assistance, you are allowed to grab onto it. I promise the view on the other end is really cool and worth it, so let's be safe and get going. Yeah, that works too.
You're gonna
I think the best part is when people like come through here, but they look at that first, the little tiny section, and then they're like, "Whoa!" And I'm like, "Look behind you." Scooch up just a little bit so these people aren't on the ramp. I don't want anybody to be stuck right there. Of course, so y'all go through video. All right, welcome to the Hall of Diamonds. Whoa, diamonds, whoa, whoa. I wish it was. This is more calcite crystals, same as the ones in, Crystal City. Now, these form basically when mineral water starts to get flat, kind of like when you open a Topo Chico bottle. Now, what really happens is the water starts to evaporate, and the minerals, having nowhere to go, begin to crystallize as they're left in the water. Now, the longer they're in the water, the longer they have to grow, so the ones at the bottom and the ones at the top are different sizes because of that. Now, we used to call this the Hall of Gems to stop making fun of the, CCC, but obviously the Hall of Diamonds stuck because it's funnier. But if you want to see a remnant of the Hall of Gems, check this out. Rubies, emeralds, and sapphires. That was the beginning of their speech. I do not know the rest. Now, what's cool about calcite crystals also is that they are 100% light refractive. If, say, you have a very good laser pointer, you could cause a disco to happen in this room. I want you guys to look at the back wall right there so I don't blind any of y'all. If you're wondering why that's blank, it's probably because the CCC thought this place was diamonds. Look at that disco going on. It's a little harder because we gotta get the right angle on this.
他把那个激光 cell 那个架势都会变，他反过来了。我讲那个。
Raven here. Now, also, if you have any kind of light, doesn't matter if it's green or not, you can do this and make your own little green glowing rock. This works with any color, by the way. Oh, that scared me. All right. Also, in this section, I do total darkness. So I asked that, if anybody has any lights showing, I asked that you either cover it up or turn it off so the experience doesn't get ruined. If anybody gets too freaked out, I will turn the lights back on. I have, no judgment here. I understand. So, y'all ready? All right. Oh, I see a few lights. By the way, to answer a question you asked later. Up ahead is the Rock of Lesser Names, the younger brother of the Rock of Many Names. It is not as low, but it goes on for a little longer. That's the name of it. I have a whole family tree I tried to make, but I don't always say it because I forget. Yeah. They got a solid foundation though. It's also just because people don't care.
Does Austin goes in San Antonio?
Yes, it's an hour away. Cedar Park's like 45 minutes. It's right.
He does, because now when you said it earlier, I didn't know what he does. Don't know what I'm sorry.
Oh, well, okay. We got a wing stop at Marvel.
That's actually disrespectful.
Yeah.
We're getting a Buffalo Wild Wings.
We were supposed to get a cage, but that was just a prank. Sad.
Happens up to. No, there's actually going to be a Buffalo Wild Wings on here. Yep, actually. Interesting. Come visit me.
I was thinking to do it like my third college. I stuck it at 3. Anyway, so remember that signal I showed you a second ago? It's the same one. And you notice there's actually a secondary hole right there, right? Well, I have a bit of a personal story when it comes to that y'all get to hear special. So remember way back when I told you about a group of 40 8 to 10-year-olds I had? Well, they were passing by here, doing our normal stuff, being pretty quiet. And then the Wild Cape people decided to pop their head out. This is not one of their exits, they just do that sometimes. They scared the crap out of them. And I had 30 minutes of screaming. Great. So yeah, thankfully they're not doing their stuff right now. It'd be funny if they pop their head out there. But we're just going to be going back up the way we came. I just wanted to show you all that and tell you a personal story. Yeah, it's real people. It's the Wild Cape. There's a tunnel that leads right under us as we walk.
You pipe it in right in there.
Hello.
They're not down there right now.
Oh man, he's my dad.
So they've been here for about 20 minutes now as the one went down to 2. That's more iron. That's not visited.
Iron?
Not that kind of iron. More like the mineral rather than the ore. Yeah, no bad. Come back You gotta wait till next year. Weirdly enough, a lot of the times it's mothers and like sons that go. Look at that, I'm magic. I didn't even touch the light switch.
Running things or even running from any type of race from like the bottomest to the, back up to the.
Oh, no one's done that here.
I think that'd be kind of cool, someone like, time.
One time I tried seeing if I could get through this cave without any light. I was in total darkness.
Uh-huh.
I didn't get very far.
Okay, I don't mean even in total darkness, but just in.
No, yeah, no, I got you. That's the closest thing I can think of.
Oh, okay.
So how long did it take?
Yeah.
I got a lot of breaks. Yeah, I guess they were busted. I don't know. Dynamite probably. All right, I remember that story I told you about the Rangers and the Comanche and all that fun stuff? Well, this is supposedly where they came through. This big hole up here. This is called the Rangers entrance, creative naming I know, and they didn't need any climbing equipment, as it used to be a giant debris pile that went from all the way up here down to the crevice where the handrails are, sorry. I was going to say hand pipes. So handrails. And, well, we got rid of the debris pile, but before that, we used it for our opening day. And the reasonable, sensible Texans that brought you, a boat ride and a, nightclub and stuff, thought that bleachers were a good idea. This one's not as funny, but it still counts. This was our opening day of Thanksgiving, 1932. We had about 700 people in attendance. One of those was the owner of Carlsbad Cavern. Now, those 700 people, after having a church mass right here, went out to the nightclub to have a big party, and then to the diner to have a big feast. And I talk about it like I was there, but obviously in 1932, I had the day off. Been here since the cave formed. Oof. Now, with that being said, we got rid of the debris pile because why not? The stage and the bleachers were both rotting, and all the debris piles were getting rid of anyway. And we found something under it. Bones. Yeah. We found deer, bison, grizzly bear, we did bears at one point, and mammoth. Now, if y'all don't know, mammoth have been extinct for over like 12,000 years. It's a bit older than, say, Stonehenge, about 9,000. And we sent those bones off to the University of Oklahoma. Why Oklahoma? No idea. But we sent them off there, and they got studied and came back to us and said, hey, these bones are broken, shattered, and cracked in a lot of places. Couple that with how we found them, and that leads us to our most prevailing theory. This big hole up here was used as a pitfall trap by ancient humans. If that's true, that means you're possibly standing in the same spot as someone over 12,000 years ago. That's insane. Now, those bones, if you want to see them, we don't have them. Because the university, they're on record for this, by the way, claimed they lost them. Yeah, that's great.
The University of Oklahoma?
Yes. Now, if you ever go to their website or to their actual museum, they have 2 full mammoth bone display cases. One of them they claimed was found in a quarry. The other, if I remember right from looking it up, has a plaque that said, donated by Texans. The audacity of these people. This is why the Red River rivalry is still a thing going on. So we had to beat them, like, what, a few months ago? That's very hard to say. They're weighed down by the sin of their past. I can't say that's happened, no.
Okay. Thank you.
I don't know why you'd come into a cave to do that. By the way, if you ever like the idea of standing in the same spot as something like super old, check out Glen Rose in Texas. It's a Dinosaur Valley State Park. You get to walk along a riverbed with millions-year-old formations. I'm going to be quiet, please, and I'll pass it on.
Saturday or tomorrow, whatever. Or yeah, come on. You ready to come to the dark side? Ready to get muddy? That's Ken. He's another one of our walking tours.
这是天然的。
He's actually been we're getting a lot of our tour guides to talk about some of the weird experiences they've had.
Like, they're not that bad. It's just, yeah, you do get stuck. That's almost
So it seems like it's colder up here and they go hotter. Is that right?
Yeah, so part of that is, Armando, turn off the lights. And so, we are over air cavern, which usually means the air outside comes in. The thing is, though, it's cold air, it's a lot. It doesn't rise, yeah. That's how I'm making it. But anyway, so instead of staying up here, but once it starts getting down to the cave, it starts to warm up as the limestone and the elevation and some of the mud that's going down. So that's why 30 is a bit warmer, because it's kind of warm. By the way, stop at the next stop sign. Yeah, you should see when it gets really humid in the cave. It's fall. Yeah, and then, oh my god, it was 120 one time around here. Ugh, but the cave is still 68. So right as you go into the sinkhole, it just, oh. It was great. Still sweating though. Thank y'all for joining me on the tour today. It was fun for me. Hope it was fun for y'all. If you like, we have other stuff around the park. We have an observation tower where you can go see a view of the lake or the castle. Guess there's a castle right here. It's called Falkenstein. It's not on our property, and they don't even do tours. They rent out for Airbnbs though for some reason. That's super weird. They do have PS5s for some reason. Anyway, so there's also the hiking trails. The longest one's 45 minutes. They're very scenic, and I recommend it just because there's a lot of cool stuff.
Any certain hiking trail?
They're all connected.
Okay.
There's also the gift shop where you can get the maps of the hiking trails too if you need. But also you can go buy gemstones like the calcite crystals for the expensive price of $2.99. You can also sift through the dirt in our sloops, or even break the geodes. I recommend breaking the geodes as that spawn gets kind of a big wheel. Crack the geodes is super fun. The other thing is you can tip me. Don't care if you do. It's entirely up to you. What helps me out more is when you leave a review online. When you leave that review, my boss will see it and then they're like, hey, maybe that guy deserves a raise, and it would be too bad, you know? And so if you want to leave a good review on Google, my name is Tanner. If you had a bad time though, then it's James. Sounds like there's another group up there, so we're going to be quiet.
Thank you.
Sorry, she wants to take a picture.
Okay, go for it.
Oh, man, I'm serious.
I am all. Yeah, that's why I said this is the hardest part, by the way. Mile hike and then boom, back up the stairs. Who needs a Stairmaster? Yeah, it goes all the same way back to the CCC building. You can climb the stairs of the CCC building. That is not the observation tower. That's the result of me getting bored during some of my shifts and looking stuff up. Finding old stuff. Yep, you're allowed to stay around here. Doesn't matter. It's like a hiking trail until the park closes. Free to roam.
Thank you.
No problem. You have a great day.
Modelo.